The Illusion Between Us, a story about love, overthinking, and awakening. There was once a man who loved deeply, but he didn't know how to stop thinking. Every silence between them became a question. Every glance, an interpretation. Every delay in a text, a storm. He didn't mean to doubt her. He just couldn't stop listening to the voice in his head. The one that whispered, "She's pulling away. She doesn't care like she used to. Something's wrong." He didn't realize he wasn't hearing her anymore. He was hearing his fears. At first, the thoughts seemed harmless. A little worry here, a little doubt there. But slowly, those thoughts began to build a world of their own. A world where love was never safe, where every quiet moment hid a secret meaning. He started analyzing her tone, her timing, her gestures. He watched for signs that didn't exist. Every word became a riddle, every silence, a verdict. He thought he was protecting love, but he was actually suffocating it. The warmth between them faded, not because love was gone, but because presence was. He wasn't with her anymore. He was with the stories inside his mind. One night, over dinner, she looked at him with tired eyes and said softly, "I miss you." He frowned. "I'm right here." She looked down. "No, you're somewhere else. You're with your thoughts, not with me." Her words struck something deep in him, a truth he didn't want to see. He realized he'd spent more time arguing in his head than listening to her heart. Every time she paused, he filled the silence with assumptions. Every time she withdrew, he created a story of rejection. Every time she loved him, he doubted if she meant it. He had been fighting ghosts, the ghosts of his own fear, insecurity, and memory. And every time he tried to control love with thought, he made it smaller, tighter, more fragile. That night, they sat in silence. The food grew cold. The distance between them felt endless. He wanted to speak, but the words caught in his throat. Because for the first time, he didn't trust his own mind. He looked into her eyes and saw not an enemy, but someone waiting for him to come home, not to the house, but to the present moment. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains. She was still asleep, peaceful, unguarded, unaware of the storm that had lived in his head. He watched her breathing, slow, steady, effortless. For a moment, everything inside him went quiet. No thoughts, no worries, just stillness. It was then that he realized he didn't suffer because of her. He suffered because of his mind. The endless commentary that never stopped talking. Every judgment, every interpretation, every what if had built a prison inside his own head, and all she ever wanted was for him to step outside those walls and simply be here. He remembered how it used to feel when they first met, how presence made everything effortless. No one needed to be perfect. No one needed to be right. There was only connection. He had been searching for that feeling again, he not realizing it never left. It was just buried under thought. He took a deep breath and let the stories fade. The noise softened. The mind loosened its grip. In that silence, he felt love again, pure, simple, and free. She opened her eyes, and for the first time in years, he truly saw her, not as a reflection of his fears, not as a projection of his mind, but as she really was. That morning changed everything. He still had thoughts, but he stopped believing all of them. He realized how easily the mind can turn love into confusion, how easily we can lose sight of what's real by chasing the illusions inside our heads. He saw that most of his suffering wasn't caused by what she did or said, but by what his mind added to it. He started listening, not to his fears, but to her voice, her eyes, her presence. He discovered that peace wasn't something she could give him. It was what appeared when he stopped fighting his own thoughts. And slowly, the relationship became lighter. They laughed again. They touched without tension. They breathed the same air without needing to explain it. Love didn't need to be figured out. It just needed space to exist. Most of our arguments aren't with the person we love. They're with the image our mind has created of them. When we stop reacting to our thoughts, peace returns and love becomes simple again. The mind always wants to fix, to analyze, to control. But love only asks you to be present. You don't need to solve every emotion. You only need to see it, without judgment, without resistance. Awareness is what ends the illusion. The moment you see the story for what it is, just a thought, the walls between you and another begin to dissolve. And in that quiet space, where nothing needs to be understood, love finally breathes again. Because the truth is, you were never arguing with them. You were only arguing with yourself. When you stop fighting your thoughts, you start awakening. And when you awaken, love becomes effortless. So the next time silence fills the room, don't rush to fill it. The next time your partner looks away, and don't assume the worst. The next time a thought says, that something's wrong, take a breath and watch it pass. Because beyond that thought, beyond all your stories and fears, there's a love that never left, a love that doesn't need fixing, a love that was always waiting for you to simply be here. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment.